Soujurn's primary aspect of her kit is her secondary fire shot. It's very important you know how to use that little fight winner, so let's break it down for you. Getting familiar with Soujurn's secondary fire is important in order for you to be viable with her, as it's her primary source of impact in a teamfight. Landing hits with Soujurn's primary fire will convert that damage into stored energy, which is displayed by the energy count below your crosshair. A single shot of Soujurn's primary fire, which does 9 damage, converts into 5 charge for your railgun. A critical hit will deal 18 damage and directly double the charge for 10 charge per critical hit. A hit on an armoured target will convert into 3.5 charge per shot and 7 for a critical hit. Charge can also be gained from shooting other entities with your primary fire, like shields of any kind, granting 1 charge per shot, turrets of any kind from Symmetra and Torbjorn, again granting 1 charge per shot,
Enemy turret destroyed.
and other placeable entities like Junkrat's Concussive Mine and Steel Trap, and also Baptiste's Immortality Field, once more granting 1 charge per shot. Entities with 5 HP or less, like Sombra's Translocator and Widowmaker's Venom Mine, do not grant charge, or rather, if they do, they grant less than 1. This stored charge, similar to Zarya's charge mechanic, will decay over time. After 6 seconds of not dealing damage with your primary fire, your stored secondary fire charge will begin to decay at a rate of 50 charge per second. Your stored charge will indicate how much damage your railgun will do, but it isn't as simple as saying that 60 charge, for example, will do 60 damage. It is more complex to understand than that. The easy part you need to know is that the lowest damage you can do is 30 damage with the secondary fire, which is from having from 1 to 5 stored charge, and the highest you can do is 130 damage with the secondary fire with 100 charge. When going into this, I figured it would be really simple to figure it out, and it would look something like this, just going up in even increments directly correlating to the charge you have stored. But this is wrong. Very, very wrong. The damage actually looks like this, in increments of 5 charge, of course. This is confusing to understand why it looks this way, because you've got this weird scale and it doesn't seem to make much sense. But I have made a second diagram to make it easier for us to understand. Soujurn's secondary fire damage works as an increasing scalar, where the damage increase you get at lower charges, let's say between 5 and 10 charge, is incredibly low. It's a mere 1 damage extra from 5 to 10. However, the damage you get at the last charge segments are significantly higher. You're getting 9 extra damage just from going from 95 to 100 charge. Now, all of the damages on this chart are doubled if you land a crit, so it helps us understand the threshold we should be aiming for with the stored charge. You're almost always wanting to only use your secondary fire shot when you're in this zone, because that will deal 200 or above damage, allowing you to get an easier final blow on a majority of the squishy targets with a critical hit. Soujurn's ultimate ability greatly affects her secondary fire, so it's important to understand how that works also. When using her ult, your charge will constantly replenish back up to 100. It is important to note that shooting with your primary fire whilst in your ultimate does not affect the rate at which this replenishes. A bonus that the secondary fire shot gets that's exclusive to the ultimate is that it grants it piercing. What this means is that you can shoot multiple targets with one shot. If your shot hits someone, it will pass right through them and can hit somebody else too. Now, this does not mean that these shots can pass through walls like some Call of Duty FMJ type stuff, and also this does not mean that these shots can pass through barriers, so keep that in mind when using her ultimate. And one final thing with Soujurn's secondary fire, unlike her primary fire, it is a hit scan, meaning that her secondary fire will be instant damage, whereas her primary fire will be a projectile. Furthermore, what this means is that at long distances, Soujurn's charged shots will do less damage, as it has damage fall off over long distances, similar to Widowmaker's primary fire. That should be everything you need to know about Soujurn's secondary fire, but if you have any further questions about it, leave them down below and I'll gladly answer them for you.